let's jump into the content today. Week number 1, we talked about flourish, and we came up with some specific techniques on how to flourish. We talked about the self-coaching model. We talked about responsibility, specifically ultimate responsibility. We talked about the methodology of communication, which again is to be in rapport, ask adept questions, and actively listen. And to be able to do that, knowing what to say is in the background to be able to implement the communication technique, because when you are not worried about what to say, then you're going to be better suited to be able to listen. And so, to give you a reminder of the difference between personal responsibility and ultimate responsibility, is that personal responsibility means that you take accountability for your actions. Ultimate responsibility means that you take accountability for everything that occurs in your life, whether it's as a result of your actions or not. And then we talked, to give you a reminder of the self-coaching model, is that programming leads to the thoughts, thoughts lead to the feelings, feelings lead to the actions, actions lead to the results, and the results then feed back into the programming. So that's a little review, a little Cliff Notes version review of week 1. Week 2 was a conversation along the curriculum on week 1 of Flourish. And now we're going into the second segment of the curriculum, which is, okay, Efren said he will join shortly. Fantastic. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right, there we go. Get you guys over there. All right, so now that we got our mind on right, and now that we are focusing on understanding that we are going to be the very best versions of ourselves, now let's look for leads. So where are we going to find the leads? That's where we are today. So I do want to do a little bit of a recap from week 1 and 2 before we get, really dive into that. And I want to lead a little conversation about what your definition of success is. What's it look like to you, and a little bit, a little bit about that. Is success about winning? Is success about money, or is it about something else? So when I ask you what is success, what comes to your mind?
For me personally, it's kind of the energy and effort that I put towards the activity in which I'm doing.
Okay, the energy, effort that you put towards the activity that you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Being present.
So it's being present to the moment.
Right, exactly.
It's interesting. I was looking for a pen while you were talking, and I was intending to be present to the moment simultaneously. And you had about 99.7% of my intention, about 0.3% I'm looking for a pen. Just want to make sure I'm calling myself out. So about being present to the moment. So you say that that's a definition of success for you. Tell us more about that if you could.
Yeah. So just ensuring that whatever I'm doing, like I'm focused, I'm engaged, and I'm giving my full self to that moment.
I love that definition, John. I haven't heard that definition. I've definitely had conversation around that. I don't think that I've had a conversation that I can recall. I'm sure I have, but that I can recall that's like a definition of success, and I admire that. I think that that's a fantastic definition of success, where I define a successful life meaning that I can be present in the moment of my life. So that's me translating what I heard you say. What do you think about my translation? How's that? Is that did I hit the mark there?
Yeah, that's much more poignant than my kind of roundabout way of saying exactly what you just said. So yeah, I think that's accurate.
Okay, so being present in the moment. What do you guys think about that? Johnny, Frank, Lenita?
I would say that depends out. For me, my definition of success would be having a work-life balance and having I guess it really come down to numbers, certain income level would be what I'd be looking for to I guess, consider myself successful.
So having a certain income level and having a work-life balance is something that would define success for you. Tell us more about that. What I'm curious, let me ask you a different question, if I may. Have you defined what that balance is of work-life?
Yes, off the top of my head, it would be, working. I guess I'd get to the point where I'd be able to work 4 days a week, something like that, or a flexible schedule. Because, versus what I have now, I have a set schedule. I have to work, certain days. And again, I'm beholden to my employer, which is, most any job is like that. But just having that flexibility and sort of freedom around work and producing income. That's what I'm thinking.
So what do you think about the thought that freedom is a result of discipline?
That's definitely true.
And so if freedom is a result of discipline, what type of discipline would we need to have freedom within our schedule?
I would say time management and the structure for getting things done. Okay. And being accountable to getting those things done.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit, I don't want to say contradicting, a little bit of a, it's the word, not contradiction, but a little bit of like a conundrum. Because when you're sitting there saying, well, I want a flexible schedule, and if I know that the flexibility rests within the discipline, and then the discipline specifically is a time management discipline, so then it would be to sit there and say, if I intend to work 4 days a week, then I think the key ingredient to that would be, what am I doing during those 4 days a week?
All right.
And in your job, it's going to be, the CPI time of lead generate, go on appointments, or lead generate, convert to appointment, go on appointments, negotiate, and scripts and role play. And so when you're focusing your efforts on those 5 activities in your job, do you believe that you could create more opportunity to have flexibility in your schedule?
Yes, definitely. That could be done within that structure.
All right. So, Frank, thank you. Work-life balance and a certain income. Do you have that income? You can feel free to share it or not. Do you have that income defined?
Sure. 150 to 200K per year.
What's important to you about 150 to 200?
It would allow me to accomplish some financial goals. Paying that down, things like eventually investing into some properties and like rental properties, things like that.
Who else has a definition? Thank you, Frank. Thanks for being authentic and vulnerable. Who else has a definition of success, and what does that look like to you? Okay.
My definition of success is, every year I create a business plan, life plan. My definition of success is keeping the promises I've made to myself and others, and succeeding in completing those items on my business plan. Because I've created that plan to look like success at the end of the year, the next year. And if I've done that, I've been successful, not only in keeping my promises to myself, but to those I serve. So if I can do that, then I'm successful.
I got a word for that.
Uh-oh.
The word that I have that describes keeping your promises is integrity.
Yes.
So my definition of integrity is simply that, keeping your promises. How have you been within, and it's okay, like, you can, I'm not intending to make anybody uncomfortable or anything like that, right? But in regards to your business plans in the past, have you been in integrity with those? Excuse me, meaning, have you done what you said you've done?
I haven't always kept my promises to myself. I try to keep them to others. But if
Okay.
very often, if a promise is going to be broken, it's usually one I've broken to myself.
Okay. And when you do your business plans, you're doing them over a year's period of time?
Generally, well, of course,
Yeah.
there's the 1 year plan, there's the 5 year plan, there's the 10 year plan.
Good.
And it's the 1 year plan that of course, that leads to all the others. So that's the one that I need to become better at keeping the promises with.
What do you think about implementing a 3-month plan rather than a 1-year plan?
Well, I like that too. I used to do that when I was with Keller Williams. Baby steps. It's easier, one bite of the elephant at a time. That's more doable.
So what I found is to do 3-month plan. What I found is to do 1-year plans are hard for me, and I've observed that to be hard for others as well. And what I've noticed is because a year is a long period of time. And so it's almost like it's a shot in the dark of whether you hit that goal or not. And so what I found is that when you break it into smaller segments, you can be more effective at hitting the goals in a shorter period of time than through a long period of time. Because if you're a lot like me, it's almost like, well, I got a year to figure that out. I'm good. All right. I'm already struggling right now with my first quarter goals because I'm not on track for them personally in my sales business. So I'm making adjustments and massive adjustments right now to hit those goals where I could just sit there and say, I'm okay. It's my 2021 goals. I'm fine. I'll make up for it in the third quarter. But if you choose to do it in that manner, do you think that the third quarter, what do you think, is that going to be? Yeah.
One never catches up.
So when you're looking at it based off of 3 months, and then if you do fall behind, you're like, what the heck do I need to do to make this work now? I'm not giving myself the grace to figure it out, 6 months from now. I'm figuring it out today.
Even better is 1 week at a time. This week I'm going to do this week, which will lead to this, and this will lead to, I find that actually works for me as well.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Lenita. It's even so I do take the 3 months, and then I take that 3 months and I break it down to the day, right? So it's 3 months that's like my focus. What am I going to get done this quarter? Now, what do I need to do in the month of February to hit that? What do I need to do in the second week in the month of February to hit that? What do I need to do today, right? But I'm not doing yearly goals anymore. I'm only doing quarterly goals.
It's amazing what we can accomplish on that schedule as opposed to this thing that we say we're going to accomplish in a year, but because it's so big, we never do.
So just maybe consider to take what your goals are for a year and divide them in 4 and then work from there and work backwards from there instead of backwards from a year. You could consider to do that if that works for you.
That works for me.
Who else has a definition of success?
Giving back 1/12 of my salary a year.
I love that you get that, Johnny, specific and measurable, and you know whether you did it or not. I'm going to encourage you to do something that's going to be consistent with what I just heard, and it's going to serve you very well. And you may already do this. I'm going to encourage for you to pick. Continue doing that 1/12, right? Continue doing that. Now, if you haven't already done this, say, what is a big number that I can intend to give away?
Oh, I already know that number.
What is it?
$1 million a year.
Yeah, okay. I figured I figured that. All right. So now what we know is Johnny's got to make $12 million.
Yep. $1 million a month.
Right. So when we're looking at like financial success for Johnny, it would be to gross $1 million a month, or actually net $1 million a month.
Yes, net.
Yeah. So net $1 million a month, which means that he's going to have to be grossing somewhere in the ballpark of $2 to $2.4 million a month to make that work. What time period are you giving yourself to do that by?
So 5 years to get halfway, and then 10 years to finish it up.
It's interesting. I would think it'd be closer to 5 years to halfway to 7.5 years to finish it up because of the the momentum that you would gain.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because the second half of that's going to be half the time than the first half of it, I would think.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. Ephraim, did you join us yet? All right. So here's what I heard you guys say. I heard you say.
I did. Can you hear me, guys?
All right. Welcome, Ephraim. Thanks for joining us today.
All right. I think you heard the background noise. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know that I was unmuted. It's a lot of street noise in New York.
He's just proven to us that he's actually in New York. That's all he's doing. No worries at all. So Ephraim, we're doing just a little recap from week 1 and 2. What does success look like to you? What is success for you?
Well, addressing some of the can you guys hear me? Because I just plugged you into my phone.
Yes.
Into my car.
Yeah.
So shifting some of the thoughts and language based on what I learned of those areas of basically fulfillment in our lives that we can kind of keep track of. So what success would be for me, and within the next, and I know that you guys were breaking it up into quarters, but within the next year to net an income of $250,000 on the financial, as well as also on the fitness standpoint, to being and hoping to achieve to being under at 7% or under body fat. I know last week I said 10%, but now 7% would be the benchmark. And also success for me was that, especially if I could achieve these things, my family can take 2 more vacations this year. And 2 more vacations this year, I will have also at least a quarter of that nominal figure in reserves for investments. And that right there, again, I'm not at my desk. That's what I've got, guys.
What's a quarter of 250? That's 6,250, I think. It's 62,500. Okay.
You're spot on, sir.
Okay, thank you. So may I make a suggestion, and then I want to repeat back what I heard you say?
Sure thing.
Okay. Your words were, if you could do this, then you will be able to take your family on 2 more vacations. Yet, what I know that you wanted to say was, when you do this, you'll be able to take your family on 2 more vacations. Did I translate that correctly?
Yes. And I didn't know, by saying if I could, that's not an affirmation. That's putting in doubt there. So yes, to affirm it, when I achieve $250,000 net, I will afford my family 2 more vacations this year, along with saving we'll be saving $62,500 by the end of the year, in the purposes of using it for investment.
Okay.